Justice Godfrey Siku, Senior Minister Comrade S.K. Moyo, Minister of Industry and Commerce Comrade Mike Bima, Minister of State for the Metropolitan Province of Bulawayo, Mayunis Moyo, all ministers, honorable ministers here present, all honorable members of parliament here present, the mayor of Bulawayo, Councillor Martin Moyo, and other mayors from other cities here present. The chairman of ZITF board, Comrade Baby Temba Komo, and the staff of the ZITF company. Our service chiefs, Your Excellencies, members of the diplomatic corps, our traditional chiefs here present, captains of industry and commerce, distinguished exhibitors, may I mention in a special way our acknowledgement and of course welcome of the delegation from Congo Brazza, the Republic of Congo, led by Comrade Mukoko, Minister, and we welcome you, and we are happy that you have exhibited at this Zimbabwe International Trade Fair for the first time. We do hope you will continue to do so in the future. We treasure your relations and friendship with us. You can carry back to President Sassou Nguesso that we really welcome your presence here as exhibitors. We say merci beaucoup. Distinguished exhibitors, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends. May I, on behalf of the people and government of Zimbabwe, and indeed on my own behalf as patron of the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, say how delighted I am to welcome you all, our distinguished exhibitors, visitors and invited guests, to the 55th edition of our annual International Trade Showcase. 55 years, as our chairman said, is no play matter. It's a long time of a succession of demonstration of an organization to exhibit what the country is able at each time, and each time means an annual stage to produce, and produce industrially. And we all know too that ZITF has also been the occasion for Matabeleland to have its own cattle show, kind of agricultural show, because they cannot, when we have the agricultural show in Harare, drive all their cattle down that distance to Harare. So we want to see the cattle, yes, and the development which has taken place. But I'm sorry to hear that, well, this show is not going to show us very many because so many were decimated by the drought the previous year. But we hope with the rains we've had, good rains we've had last season, there will be a recovery. So the 2014 ZITF indeed is like just an icing on the cake. It's coming after some 54 years of exhibitions. And after 54 years, it must surely show itself with the experience of all those 54 years behind it. And this is what we have seen and what we shall be talking about. Perhaps also what we shall be presenting here in a few minutes. The ZITF provides an investment promotion exhibition that brings together industrialists, traders, and potential investors from Zimbabwe, from Africa, and from beyond Africa. The occasion also provides precious and invaluable opportunities and for business networking and exploration and expansion for new trade and investment. I would like therefore to express my profound gratitude to all the distinguished exhibitors and visitors, both domestic and foreign, for according great value to the premier international trade event. I happily observe that with each passing year, the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair has been growing and our ability to organize has also been improving with time. My observation is strongly supported by the high quality of local and foreign exhibits which I've just witnessed. It is also pleasing to note that over time, the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair has become a multi-sectoral fair, exhibiting diverse goods and services that include manufacturing, mining, tourism, education, and information and communication technology. Indeed, this has resulted in the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair becoming a diversified one-stop shop for trade, tourism, and investment. That more than 90% of the available exhibition space has been occupied this year strongly indicates the confidence demonstrated by both the local and international business communities in Zimbabwe's economic recovery. This is despite the illegal sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe, which have continued to hurt industry and commerce, undermining all efforts we have made to create an enabling environment for business. And on this, may I say, we do not understand why the United States of all democratic countries should choose to single out our country for sanctions. We don't understand it. And we can only say we are singled out because of of the policies we have pursued that benefit our people, especially the land reform program. But what choice have we? God gave us Zimbabwe and its natural resources. And who are we to disobey the command of the Almighty? Who placed us in control, ownership and control of the natural resources. These natural resources, sources of wealth, there shall be yours, people of Zimbabwe. Look after them, they are yours, and yours alone. If you give them away, you are disobeying the hand and the act of the Almighty, who placed you in control and ownership of them. And why should the Americans not understand that? We understand they boast on this world as the most democratic country. Well, democracy derives from certain values, from the understanding that the people of a country have the right in their togetherness to own not just the right to choose leaders, but also the right to own their resources and to ask the leaders they choose to work on those resources so they can benefit. Anyway, we shall continue to interact with the United States on this matter. I say this is despite the illegal sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe, which have continued to hurt industry and commerce, undermining all efforts we have made to create an enabling environment for business. Although the illegal sanctions have prevented the participation of more foreign exhibitors, we note with appreciation the exhibition this year by 14 countries, comprising mostly our all-weather friends, such as China. The Zimbabwe International Trade Fair 2014 is indeed a very special event for us, coming as it does a few months after the promulgation of the Zimbabwe Agenda for Sustainable Socio-Economic Transformation, ZITF, our economic blueprint, which is expected to guide and direct Zimbabwe's sustained economic recovery path for the next 5 years. This year's theme, New Ideas to New Heights, is indeed timely and augurs well for the success of our national policy thrust. ZITF's focus is on priorities of food security and nutrition, social services and poverty eradication, infrastructure and utilities, and value addition and beneficiation. zinobva acid. It is about food security. We must have enough food for ourselves and not be importing food for ourselves and perhaps for others in our region and abroad. And not just food to fill our stomachs, but food that also will give us good health, nutrition. Then, to help us build ourselves up in the arena of social services, education, health, the welfare of us all. And that way, we become strong not just physically from the food and nutrition, but strong also intellectually as we get educated and enlightened. Already we are very high in our literacy rate ranking, and I do hope that the skills, specialist skills that we now need in our technological world shall also be acquired by many of our young people as they go to colleges, tertiary institutions, and the other institutions that might provide them. Then, in the process, there has to be not just employment of us, but also the ability of us to create that employment, to be employers. In other words, to establish businesses, to be our own employers, to do things for ourselves, kuzviitira, kuzienzela. So we are no longer poor. And then, of course, we must look around. Our environment has got to be good. The roads, oh, our roads have been. I was looking even at our road as I left the airport. It's as if it was made in 1924 when I was born. We couldn't have even beautified it. Just put a bit of, cement on it, resurfaced it, and also, decorated it. Should put a bit of shouldering to the roads, as others are doing. Why? Look at us wearing all these suits. Even an old man like myself. And if that road is a newer road than Robert Mugabe, who was born 1924, it must show that it is in front, modern, being attended to by people with skills. You will say, Imal guy, that's normal. That's what the councillors will say all the time. But where does the money go? We pay rents, we pay rates. We would want now to know. be jacked up so that it can jack up our councillors so they can look after the people better. But we in government also must look after the roads, better roads. Dualization, and not just resurfacing of the roads. Many of our people, you know, when we have these holidays, die on the roads. And we should continue to have these holidays, long holidays, because they yield so many deaths on the roads for us. You must expect every time we have Christmas, every time we have Easter holidays, that many people are going to die on the roads. Is that correct? So, we must work on our infrastructure. Infrastructure and utilities, and water. Sewage, my. Sinatanya, eh? Are we drinking water, clean water? With all that sewage running into water sources. And the doctors have said our water is not clean in the cities, in all the cities. That's why we have put an emergency committee in the cabinet. We have created an emergency committee to look at water immediately and sewage and try to clean all the cities. Now, we must do that and have our cities, all of them clean. God has given us good rain, and the rivers are full of water. But we don't want that water soiled. We continue to work on power. We are examining more solar, more hydro, and we are trying to increase even more generators. Kariba and also at Muagbe has indeed developed more thermal stations and more hydro, small hydro zones in some rivers. Those are plans we are having. So the utilities must work for us. They must enable even our industry. If there is no power, well, we can't talk about building the industries of Bulawayo, rebuilding them. We need power, we need water. Those must come first. That's why we call them enablers. Then, of course, and I'm glad here we have our ministries of industry and Ministry of SME is jacked up on the matter of value addition and beneficiation. This is, if we are producing cotton, we gin it, yes, but a gin cotton just sold like that has little value. But when it's turned into yarn, then it's something you have added value. But yarn then is woven into cloth. Then cloth made into dresses and suits, and then even the old ones can wear ties and suits. You see? that's adding value. But we continue to buy these things from outside. You want good dress, you must go to South Africa. You see, why must we not develop our own industries? There will be many industries. I mean, there will be textile industries. We have had David Whitehead in the past, but it has now gone to sleep, if not gone to extinction. So that's adding value. So add value. And I'm glad that industry is aware that we must add value to our resources, whether these are minerals or iron ore. Let's make CMB out of it. Let's make also metals or metallic products out of it. And it's not just those that mineral, others too, even our diamonds. You see, cut and polish them, and then they can make rings. Just imagine the rings that are bought is gold. But I know the young ladies of our time, the young men of our time, don't just want a gold ring, it must have a bit of diamond to it. And as for the women, jewelry. So there you are. And we have these resources in our country. So value addition, it means creating factories, but developing skills first of people who can add that value. Then factories, then employment. And we are developing our industry that way, developing our country. And earnings as we export the products increase also. So that's what we look forward to. Yes, we call for investment. We would want investment from abroad. Investment in productive sectors. Domestic investment by ourselves should be the main thrust. Then, to complement our efforts, we ask for friendly countries also to invest. Joint ventures, you invest in mining, you invest in agriculture, you invest in commerce, you invest in building infrastructure, in several other areas and sub-sectors. So, government's comprehensive strategy is intended to fortify our country's economic growth and development. I therefore invite bona fide local and foreign potential investors to come on board and seize the vast trade and investment opportunities available in the various economic sectors. We expect investors to engage in projects that yield fair returns and are aimed at benefiting our country and the owners of the investment on a reciprocal basis, our country and its people. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to seize this opportunity to demystify and correct misconceptions that might be lingering in people's minds regarding Zimbabwe's economic empowerment and indigenization policy. As I indicated last week in my independence anniversary address, the policy has been subject to misinterpretation and misrepresentation. as originally set out, it is meant to empower and integrate the majority of our people into the mainstream economy. The policy aims at achieving inclusive growth, sustainable development, and social equity. There is no expropriation or nationalization of shares held by non-indigenous persons. Even those countries which have imposed sanctions on us have not suffered the loss of their own, of those companies through nationalization by us. We have not retaliated by imposing sanctions on them either. No. We've not nationalized a single company ever since our independence. None. But we may seek to participate in the existing companies that yesterday were just meant to enrich the settlers. So let that be quite clear, and let our detractors also listen to that and try to correct their past presentations to the world. Rather, any equity that an indigenous person takes up will be disposed of at fair value. In fact, there is no imposition of indigenous partners on foreign investors. We don't impose them. Those who participate in foreign investment as partners are those who are reciprocally agreed to by the two parties. So, with this clarification, let me take this opportunity to invite potential investors to come and do business in Zimbabwe, in which there is huge potential for joint venture partnerships. Joint venture partnerships between investors, manufacturers, industrialists, and the public sector. Fully committed to the regional integration agenda, Zimbabwe is an active member of main regional trading blocs. SADC is one, COMESA is another. Trade integration is proving to be the cornerstone for the creation of larger markets and in increasing trade flows. I therefore urge industry and commerce to be more aggressive and take advantage of opportunities that have been brought about by the existing bilateral, regional, and multilateral trading agreements, some of which offer duty-free and quota-free market access. My government is also committed to the tripartite initiative between COMESA, the East African Community, and SADC, which aims at harmonizing trade integration commitments. We must agree between and amongst ourselves, not that if, for example, we have customs free, duty-free in the SADC, that does not obtain in COMESA, and it doesn't obtain in East Africa. In other words, exporting to each other's countries. If we agree that we remove our tariffs. That means customs. The customs walls must go. We must agree on the categories of goods that are covered. And we must also agree that where countries perhaps have infant industries, they can protect themselves. As long as that is reciprocal, there is nothing wrong about it. But at the moment, it appears we are yet to go quite some distance before we get to a stage where reciprocity operates on a fair basis. A country might just want to send its goods to us free of custom duty. But when we send our own goods to them or to it, no, they will want to block it, to block our goods. In some cases completely, in other cases by using all kinds of tariff tactics. It is our hope that this harmonization will go a long way in boosting intra-Africa trade through common trade policies, reduction and/or elimination of barriers to trade, and that should result in the creation of an expanded single market in our region. In the face of this regional trade integration agenda and globalization, I call upon progressive adopting and indeed adapting to cutting-edge innovation solutions in order to sustain competition. Investment in relevant technologies in order to improve on productivity and quality of goods and services is therefore critical in order to take advantage of export opportunities in the region and beyond. Government is cognizant of the myriad of challenges the local industry is faced with. Such challenges include the lack of capital for retooling and the replacement of obsolete machinery and shortage of utility supplies, which are key enablers for industrialization. I have made reference to the issue of utilities already. Within our means, government will work tirelessly to improve the situation by especially mobilizing affordable long-term funding for industry. In the spirit of public-private partnerships, I also call upon industry and commerce to be proactive and to embrace ZIMASET, which encompasses new ideas to new heights that can lead us to where we want to be. Ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, allow me to congratulate and salute all the outstanding exhibitors, both local and foreign, who have done well and have won awards for their exhibition at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair 2014. I urge them all to keep on aiming higher and higher and making us proud, more and more proud, regionally and internationally. The exhibitors who have not won any prizes this year, don't mourn, please. but have the greatest prize coming from your feeling that your invaluable participation, just invaluable participation in this Zimbabwe International Trade Fair was a great reward indeed to you and to us. You were here to see what others are able to do. You were here also to see what this country can offer, much more than the exhibits you brought. And you are here also as an ambassador for your country to make friendship, to enhance friendship, to court friendship, and in some cases that friendship can go a long way and create new families. So you see, you haven't lost anything. May I, in conclusion, urge all exhibitors and participants to continue making use of this important platform of the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair to showcase and explore the numerous trade and investment opportunities that abound in our economy, which is destined to grow in leaps and bounds under ZIMASIT. We are doing our best under sanctions, but you can see the spirit of Zimbabweans, those of you who have come here for the first time. We don't need to crumble under sanctions, no. We want to defeat them and to show the world that Zimbabwe will not die under sanctions, that Zimbabwe will never be a colony again. With these remarks, it is my singular honor and privilege, Comrade Chairman and Comrade Minister, to declare the 55th edition of the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair officially open. Siyabonga kakhulu nokuthendayo. Yebo.
The Zimbabwe International Trade Fair 2014, ladies and gentlemen, has just been officially opened. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And again.
Chadzima kudhara ichi. Serious.
And right now, ladies and gentlemen,
the President, Comrade Robert Gabriel Mugabe, has officially opened the 2014 edition.